Hello, friends. This is Giuliano here. We're going to take a weekly roundup and look at some crypto price charts. We're going to look again BTC against USD, and then some altcoins against BTC. And see where we are. Okay, let's roll into it. Check the Bitcoin price chart first. All right, here we are. How are we doing? So the price action here currently, is quite interesting. When we look back at the 2017 all-time high levels, we see this price action here. Okay, important level. Currently, the price is below it, trading below it. It's being respected as resistance. Okay, that level is being respected as resistance here. So that's important. We just broke down this significant long-term uptrend. If you didn't see the previous video or even check the monthly roundup video. But yeah, we just recently broke down that level, and now we're having that resistance at the horizontal important level. So does that spell short-term deviation below that level, interact with the lower end of the Bollinger Band, and then get back above as some sort of second bottoming, and then you can cross over that cyclical downtrend that was formed by these touch points, these recent highs of end of 2021 and in March of 2022. Is it something like that, or is there the more violent turn down in towards that 12K area? And then from there, you end up finding your bottom there, and you get your bounce there, or wherever, wherever that ends up being. But something like that, So instead of pulling out of the trend, the downtrend, into a bit of more of an uptrend, and maybe breaking even this to the upside and kind of going in this direction, before maybe then coming back down, doing whatever, finding wherever is the next little bottoming. Yeah, because I mean, at that point, it could be down here if need be. That would be interesting. But interestingly, yeah, you've got this kind of previously uptrend that you broke down, you could be hitting it again. But anyway, so that's one direction that you could take, is that kind of upside direction where we use this lower end of the Bollinger Band on the weekly as support down here after breaking down a bit, because it is holding resistance at this level, right? The important level is holding as resistance. So we have to respect that. We have to have a bearish bias currently in that sense. But as it potentially maybe just holds at these levels, it kind of makes a second bottoming formation, some sort of Adam Eve situation, and comes back to the upside, and then kind of challenges the upward direction here like we showed. The other option is, of course, as others are showing and talking as well, is the downward bias, as this is resistance, and if it's significant enough currently, then there could be a catalyst to flush the market down. But then what would it be? Would it be a double bottom down here? Would it be more like a March 2020 bottom similar to this and just shoot right back up? Who knows? So those are the two main directions, it seems, at this current standpoint. Is, okay, we're down below this important level. We have to be on the bearish side of things as price closes below this level, because yeah, it can trade above the level as it's been with these candles here. Okay, yes, you get wicks to the upside, and you get wicks also to the downside on the red candle of last week. Okay, so wicks to the upside, wicks to the downside of these candles means just a lot of volatility, choppiness. But the main thing is, closing wise, you're respecting that level. So we may maintain bearish. Do we get some sort of low down here and push up, or does it do a full breakdown and like really start going to the downside? Okay, I don't think you get too much more time where you get to be just at these levels here. Okay, maybe into November, and then like into November here in the next few weeks, you find out. That's what it seems like. So that's the weekly time frame. I hope that makes sense. Let's go to the daily time frame and just check our progress based on some of the things we were considering previously. And I do think that this, this move down is very likely. And based on this daily time frame shape, I do think that some sort of move to the upside from there is the next thing, because it's a kind of downward wedging formation. However, you can also draw it, well, on the logarithmic time frame. I mean, what do you got here? It's so far it's something like that, but it respects the general movements. But I feel like this shape spells it out, because it's basically all of this price action from the recent high. So I get the sense that it's also, this one was kind of an upward version that broke down. This is a downward version that I imagine could probably break up. The only other consideration would be that if it does come down in here and it just keeps going, so that this kind of downward wedging is invalidated and not relevant to the potential price action. So let's see how it goes. I mean, yeah, it could go sideways all the way here before coming down. It could touch this downtrend line and maintain the current shape of price action. And it's interesting how, if you see that volatility in the daily time frame right there, it's wild. You even see it here. Like, there's so much volatility. So it's great for day trading, and if you can be flipping your bias and all of that on a short time frame, and then look, but of course, coming from a higher time frame and recognizing where things are likely to head, and framing your bias that way, I guess, as well, right? So here you go. That's the general sense we have. And yeah, I think we'll stop it there in terms of the BTC. I don't need to go into 4 hourly. I think we're just going to keep watching it from these levels. And let's hit this. If it changes, if it breaks that green downtrend to the upside, if it kind of keeps going this way, this line here is basically what we're looking at, right? So that line will tell us it's coming soon enough, the type of price action we're going to get. And we are currently at a bias of bear because we're below this key pivotal horizontal level. But if it flips to the other side, not just intra-week trading, but closing above there, 1 or 2 candles, then we'll consider that maybe the price is ready to go higher towards this level, this zone here on a weekly time frame in towards 2023. Yeah, or here, maybe to get rejected here first, and then continue down. Oh, it's so much possibility here. Time, it takes so long for these things to play out, it feels like sometimes. But as we watch it play out, we're getting a better sense of the shape and also the importance of which levels are involved. So I think that's it for now. Local bearish bias, but overall it looks like potential bottoming formation could be happening as well. Significant cyclical bottoming formation could be beginning. I mean, maybe, as we've said before, it's something that takes some time. Maybe it takes into 2024. That's not off the table, right? But even something that goes towards 2023, the first half of 2023, that's a decent amount of space to be holding to find some sort of long-term bottom. And if you take it into 2024, I mean, you can make a bigger box of a bottom, and who knows what it ends up looking like. But this could be some significant price action coming up in these next couple of months, and it'll be cool to watch. So stick around for that. Stick around for more. And if you're an altcoin fan, I like looking at them against Bitcoin, because really, why not just hold Bitcoin? If you're holding your value, you're either holding, if you're holding it in crypto, you're holding it in Bitcoin or an altcoin, of course, or in a stable coin. And there are purposes for that too. And that's really probably just because you're playing it against Bitcoin. When you're playing against the altcoins, you play it against Bitcoin because then you're always you're triangulating the fiat pair, the Bitcoin pair, and the altcoin pair to triangulate, to try and maintain as best value as you can. You're just moving your value around to what you deem is best. So speaking of the altcoins, let's start with KMD. KMD looking pretty interesting on a long-term downtrend here with the weekly. It is triangulating and to the downward direction, which oftentimes means move to the upside when it does break out. And because it is so close to the apex of the zone, which goes into the to March, April of 2023, there's a likelihood that it will get a move up. And on the weekly chart, it looks like it's setting up for something like that, because as we see, there's a zone of levels here which were created, but there's a previous low of January or December 2020, January 2021, that low on a horizontal level. And then there's the lows which are lower than that, which came in 2022, January, February, March. But it was an interesting consolidation low. So it spent some time there forming a base of a low, and then the price dumped down below that to its all-time lows and came back up violently, came back up to the upside, which is a sign of its own, and came back down and is now holding this support as a support. Like, the price is doing very well in that sense, I would have to say. KMD is showing strength in that way, where you've made this deviation down, you're back above a key level of previous all-time low and holding it as support. And the way you came back above was very violent, so that's also key. And now, actually, technically, when we look more closely, we look here at this wick intra-week all-time low here of the January 2021 week, there at the beginning, first week of January type stuff. So this is important also data, because it's like the end of a year, beginning of a year data as well on the weekly. And right now, currently, the price is also respecting that level. It's this mid-level of this box, actually. So interestingly, the closing price of the previous low and this kind of region here of lows forms a nice box with a midline where that intra-week trading happened. And now currently the price is respecting it here as well, in terms of the way that the price acts around it, in terms of resistances like here, and supports now currently here, and previously it played around it as well. But anyway, that's pretty cool. So that's significant for me. I'm not saying it can't come back down, but I mean, it's showing a good sense of support and leveling, and let's just see how it continues playing out. There is room for the price to come back down before going back up, obviously, but that's more weak and less desirable. If it can still manage to just go sideways and chop around on a low volatility type situation, wicks or whatever. But when we look at the line chart, it's like, yeah, that's pretty low volatility. It's compressing. It's going to go somewhere, and we get in towards 2023. And hopefully that brings it to the upside. A move to the downside could be, of course, in store for some sort of double bottom, but the other worse option is that this whole thing doesn't even matter and the price just keeps dumping further down, and then maybe popping back up eventually. But so that's the biggest bear scenario for the KMD, obviously. But yeah, right now, I think that's not a concern. I don't think that's a concern right now. I think actually the concern is getting in if you want to go to the upside. I mean, it looks like it wants to go to the upside. This price action here says, hey, we dumped below, we came back above, we're holding it. Now we want to go to the upside because we're holding it as support. We're not just going to go sideways forever. We're going to go up or down. And if we're going to hold this as support, we're going up. And if we're coming out of this long-term triangulation, it doesn't mean that you're going to even reach the previous highs here, which in itself is, we'll see what happens. It might be just part of a longer term bottom formation, or you know, as has previously been speculated, maybe everything against BTC has a chart that just, well, not everything, but most things, and maybe everything has a chart that just goes down over time. Maybe that's possible, but maybe the way that cryptos play out is that BTC become, you know, it's huge, but also cryptos themselves keep going, and they have their big long-term charts that that they end up having, that over time they chop around and they do their thing. And maybe KMD is a chart that will find its long-term bottom and then move higher up in a similar fashion that, for example, when we look at ADA, you'll see ADA did something like that, where it came down and went back up, and now it's coming back down. And that's the thing, is like, maybe these things, they never really, you know, into 2030, into 2040, into 2050, who knows what these things end up looking like. I guess this is just playtime, speculation time, if you're watching right now. But it's like, you have these things that they just, I don't know, and who knows what the reasons are that they would pop up like this, but it's just what they would do. And over time, you know, you can make it all the way to 2060, 2070. Is KMD going to be around in 2060, 2070? And what's this full price chart going to look like? So that'll be interesting to watch. I mean, I have no idea, obviously. Might not even be alive at these times. So this is also a message and a hope and love to posterity, wishing you well. And I hope KMD is around, and I hope everyone else is having a good time with everything else that they're doing. Okay. And there's more goodness in the human condition, you know. We got more freedom and all that good stuff. Okay. Well, anyway, so that's to say, KMD is looking decent, and if ever it was going to a positive level, this is the price action that we'd be looking for over time. And even this dump down, like, it just couldn't. It was part of it. It was part of the final, like, kind of winding leg down, capitulation, come back up. That's the sense I'm getting here. So let's watch it. Let's keep watching it. There's exciting times to see this type of thing shape up. We needed time to watch what the price would do here. And it needs, because, yeah, it could have just crashed back down. That would be a week, but now we have a bullish bias. But if we're talking closing prices, because that's where we are, then really our bullish bias begins above here, the previous all-time low closing, and where it broke down here. So currently it's actually neutral, I'd say. You can't really say for sure, but if it gets above here and can hold here, then yeah, then we expect moves higher. And at that point, we're looking at like these kinds of levels here, which is like 22, 25, 26, okay, as beginning target levels type stuff. And then we can move it up to, you know, 4,000 to 6,000, depending where things are going to go. But at that point, I think this 200-week moving average on the top of the Ichimoku cloud will kind of be maybe around here. Let's say if that happens then, or maybe here, maybe you're getting out here. And of course, there is intra-week trading, so it could be wicks and other stuff like that, right? KMD loves to have a good wick. So you might have like a very violent action with just a wick, and then it just kind of comes all the way back or something, you know? So all the price action here could just be wick. You never know, okay? But in a long-term time frame, then it could still be part of the bottoming action. So that's good. Like, we could be looking at a bottoming, and so stick around and we'll find out. That's KMD. All right. Let's look at the ARRR price chart just to get a quick sense of things. Yeah. So we broke. We broke out of this downtrend here. Okay, fine, but nothing's really happening yet. And so something will happen soon enough. We confirmed that the bigger downtrend is still kind of intact. It is winding up for some volatility as the Bollinger Bands continue to narrow with some support in last week's candle here at this kind of horizontal important level. Is the price going to fail here and dump down? Well, then that's probably what it ends up looking like. Is the price going to succeed and hop over here? That would be lovely. That's the preference for sure, is to hop over here, even if you come back down and even go lower. But then find your support and whatever, who knows where you go from there. But that's besides the point. Point being is more like the pathway out of here. So if you can hop over, that's great. Otherwise, looks like we can be dumping down quite significant. So I think here, you know, the more times we test down below, the worse it is. But there's a potential to just kind of go low volatility sideways and then hop over to the good side for the bulls, for the longs on the ARRR BTC price chart. But as of yet, it's not clear. Let's take it down to the daily and see if we want to say anything further. Yeah, yeah, it's a narrow Ichimoku cloud. If ever there was going to be a chance, you know, that's the kind of time where there's a chance to hop over more easily with less energy needed. So, and recently on the daily, you did pop over the 20-day moving average here. And now if you can hold it as support, then yeah, then you can go. And maybe this wick was just a little sign, but yeah, we're going to watch this 20-day moving average. If you break down below it, then there's a likelihood that this is going to stay weak. But it's a daily price chart, so it's going to fall within the weekly on the longer time frame. Okay, yeah, nothing super clear here yet, but except there's some reason to be potentially bullish. Yeah. Also, nothing great to go on. So we're going to move out of here. Let's check VRSC. Oh, before we do that, let's just check XMR BTC. And we check it up on Poloni X, XMR, yeah, against BTC. It looks like, well, you know, it's triangulating. It could be locally consolidating to make a move higher, actually. We're going to know soon enough, I think. Okay, that's XMR against, oh, that's Monero on the daily. Daily Monero. Okay, cool. So we're watching this price action and we're going to check it on the weekly. Yeah, I was wondering why it looked like that. I mean, because it's similar to the weekly price action where it has made a recent move up. I'm going to just have this showing on the daily because I don't really want to get disturbed by it. Visibility, not weeks. Thanks. This one, not weeks. Thanks. Okay, now you are still holding the 200-week moving average as support. So I think on the weekly, that's your main deal. You want to hold it long enough, get the 20-week to cross bullishly above the 200-week and hold the 20-week as well, then you're holding your trend. Otherwise, price is going to come down into this Ichimoku cloud and then dump down further. So I think Monero looking good. I think Monero can hit a pop. I think it's looking good overall. Yeah, it's currently bullish bias on Monero. Nice. See, but it took some time for these candles to start playing out and to say, okay, yeah, you can maintain bullish bias or whatever. Cool. Now we're going to move over to the VRSC, and we're just going to get the most recent data. We're using the Safe Trade Exchange. Shout out to Safe Trade. So currently we've got this local uptrend. Okay, and the price is respecting the horizontal level that we've carved out. It's either, you know, there's a zone. There's this lower end here and this upper end here, based on significant, you know, all price action is significant, and it's based on repeated touch lines and interplays, you know, there, all of this resistance price action there, support price action there, you know, support price action there, and then returning resistance. So this level is important, and the price is respecting it. On the other side, you know, like Bitcoin is being respected as resistance that we looked at. This is being respected as support. So as long as that keeps happening, there's a good chance to hold this uptrend line. Yeah, and there's a lot good going on for VRSC, so there's a good chance that that could happen this is into October, November, and it could just work its way into this space right here, which is up to about 2,000 satoshis, and but anyway, we'll see. We'll have to watch it. It's coming up though. It's coming soon. By the end of the month of October, we will get a much clearer picture, I think. Yeah, good. Or at least into November, that's for sure. Okay, so that's VRSC on the 3-day price chart. Now back over to ADA. You mentioned ADA before when we were talking about KMD. If you're still watching, good for you. I hope this is serving you well. So this is the KMD. It happened a lot. The ADA. It happened a lot faster than KMD. It happened within a couple of years, few years, rather than KMD, which has taken a long time to make its lower lows and find some bottoming and whatever. And as we see with all these different price charts, they're all different. They all look different. They can have a lot of similarities though. So yeah, here is ADA price chart, and oh wow, last week it had a big dump through that level. There you go. Like you had 1 week to recognize that, hey, this ain't looking too good here. And of course, the daily price chart probably would have said, be careful around here. Even the weekly said be careful around here, but you break down below the 20-week moving average, you do respect the support level. But man, you just broke below the 20-week moving average. This stuff is weak. And now look at the next candle. It's a huge bearish candle to the downside. It respected the full level and came down all the way down to the lower end of the Bollinger Band. So here's my question. Is that it? And I think the answer could be yes. I think if you start forming a bottom around these levels, you are super strong on ADA, and that's very bullish, in my opinion. And then you're probably forming some sort of rectangular formation of consolidatory support for a cyclical bottom. There you go. The other option is no, you're going down probably to these green levels after you break down below this 200-week moving average. So that's the other option. Good look out there to the ADA bulls. And I think right now you're actually looking okay, considering you're at this level here. But man, it's scary because you might not be okay. Because you're at the lower end of the Bollinger Band and it's still kind of narrow. It hasn't really, you just went from top of the Bollinger Band to the bottom. So you're likely to break it down further to the bottom and expand hard. That's the problem here. That's the problem with ADA right now. If you're asking me, this is a no touch right now. If you have, man, I guess at this point, if you're holding, wait to see what it does. And I guess if you're holding because you're like long-term bull and you're trying to invest and all that, then yeah, like everybody has different reasons. Shout outs to Mark Douglas. Everyone has reasons for being in the market, and they're different. And so that changes. That's why a market can exist, because people have different incentives and agendas, and that's a beautiful thing. I love it. I love it so much. It's so cool. I'm glad that we can share it together here in this format. Cool. So we went top of the Bollinger Band, bottom of the Bollinger Band, after being at the bottom to the top, and it was expanding. So now it's consolidating, getting closer together, and ADA, good luck out there. Okay, ADA, good luck. I just think it's cool that the candle respected this full level, but it was such a huge capitulatory candle, hopefully for you ADA bulls. And then you start making higher lows than these previous lows, and it's like, wow, okay, off to the races for the next one. That'll be cool. But maybe this stuff's going to take time. We might need to bottom around here for a while. That'll be interesting. I'm really curious how this 200-week moving average and the price are going to play together over the next, here's 2024. So in the next, let's say the next 6 to 9 months, I really want to see what is going to happen here. So excited to see it. I hope I can be here with you. I hope you can be here with me. All right, so that's ADA. Overall, some thoughts on the ADA price chart. Theta looks like it's falling down. DERO did some cool moves when everybody else was having a bit of weakness. It started showing strength here, holding that 20-week moving average as support. Currently showing a bit of weakness at the top of the Bollinger Band though. Is it going to make it to this this kind of channel top? We'll see. Interesting price action on DERO. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty good. That's pretty cool. But at this point, you know, you're at this level of resistance as well. You know, if we start like carving this stuff out like that, it's like, okay, maybe you're done for now. But if not, if you can hop over that level, then that's good. That's good possibility. You know, it's a good possibility you're going to keep going higher. But I don't. Doesn't look like it. I think you fizzle out here. Maybe some sideways, but I think that's maybe not even. I don't know. DERO's been very, you know what, every time I think DERO has a chance to go down, it goes up. So maybe I'm the contrarian indicator on DERO. So let's find out how it is. Okay. Of course it can have, look, I have the circle here. It can have an intra week or even a few weeks, like price action go here, but I don't think your risk reward is the greatest around these levels. That's all I'm saying. Okay. As DERO against BTC. Origin Trail back above 1,000. Let's take a look. 1,000 Satoshis, that is. Cool. So Origin Trail is challenging this downtrend line now. That's good. It's holding support. So this is what we're wondering what ADA can do. But ADA never broke down below its 200-week moving average, this orange line. So it is slightly different. In ADA's case, it would be like we transpose this 200-week moving average, we would transpose it down. So instead, ADA, you know, it supported off that 200-week moving average, and then maybe it's going to find its support higher than the 200-week on the next try. But this is Origin Trail, and it found the first support below the 200-week moving average, and now it's trying to find its second support above the 200-week moving average, which is great. And now you're having a decent bullish candle to try and at least challenge this downtrend resistance as you're coming upon it, and you have narrow Bollinger Bands. So I think you are in a good position with Origin Trail overall. And yeah, it's a higher low. Yeah, this is looking good overall, I would say, for Origin Trail. So the considerations I'm having here, yeah, I mean, you could totally stand to continue with bullish momentum. The signal MACD lines are way below here, and yeah, it's possible. Anyway, okay, so this is looking good, Origin Trail. Let's watch the next month or two how this plays out. It'll be cool to see the next 4 to 8 candles form on that price chart. Another one that's going to be really interesting to watch is this BNB price chart here, BNB against BTC. Wow, like just, you know, I guess this is something that I traced out the other day while I was just looking at the price chart, recognizing that it's making these marginally higher highs and these higher lows, but the price action, it's taking a longer time to do it. So it's not as impulsive as something like this, right? Which goes up, straight up, you know, basically. It's not as impulsive as that, right? And so it's like chopping up this level. So eventually what ends up happening with these rising wedging type formations is they break down to the downside. And so anyway, so this is what I've kind of traced out here, is this potential here where like now you're hitting top again, so you're going to come back down. Maybe there's like some sort of midline that you respect or whatever. And you know, but then you fizzle and you fail. It never, well, sometimes it'll pop up above and come back down, but more rarely I'm imagining. So usually it'll fail like around the middle or towards the edge here and then come down. So yeah, this is an interesting time in the BNB price cycle. Is it exactly going to chop like this? I don't know. And of course, there's potential for it to go higher. I'm not saying it has to do this, right? But man, interesting. I really am fascinated by this price chart, probably because it's the only one that keeps making higher highs, all-time highs against its own price, against BTC. But now I'm fascinated as well because of topping formations. Topping formations and bottoming formations are the theme of today, and I think those are so important because they mark the the ends and beginnings, so to speak, or we'll call them the significant times of the cycles, because you want to be in when it's going in your favor, and you want to be out when it's going against your favor, or you want to be in when to the upside when it's going to be going up, and you want to be in to the downside when it's going to be going down. In short to the downside, if that's how you want to play. Well, and anytime you're playing a pair, then it's just you're always long and short each other. So if you're holding BNB, then you're long BNB, short BTC, and if you're holding BTC, you're short BNB, long BTC in this pair. So in that sense, okay. After having said that, all I'm saying is let's watch this play out. It's very interesting on a long-term frame. We're going to look more closely now. This and also this momentum, see, it's on the other side. It's on the positive side. It's been on the positive side for so long. It's back these signal lines, RSI, all this stuff. It's, things do need to balance out. They do need to provide a cycle. We are about to get a MACD signal cross. How many times is it going to do something like this? I'm sorry, something like this, where, it can kind of undulate and wave and stay above and do its thing. But like this, yeah, we're going to get a bearish cross on the MACD signal. So what is that going to mean? What is that going to mean? We're going to get, this RSI is going to go back down a bit probably, or it's going to chop around. So what's that going to mean for price? It means most likely it's not going to keep impulsing up, which means probably finding its top, which means at least locally in towards the, the end here, maybe in March, April 2023, when the price is down here, it'll pump up again. Maybe price starts coming down here in a choppy fashion, and it goes towards these levels. And then in like March, April 2023, or whenever is the next, like, altcoin against Bitcoin pump season, and gets its move up. And then, ultimately it breaks down, because then it's done. But anyway, at this point, wow, this is a wild one. I'm so excited by this price chart. I really am. It's interesting to watch these things play out. So there you go. That's BNB. Quite fascinating. I think I'm done with that for now on the BNB, but we can look at it on the daily just for a quick little idea that, yes, locally, it probably has finished an uptrend. Look, even here, it's doing a similar type of topping formation, most likely. Maybe it's just intermediate, and it's just a sideways consolidation before a continued move higher, of course. But based on the weekly, I think we're finding our top here. Yeah, we're gonna have to watch this play out. So maybe it can go sideways much longer than we might anticipate. So yeah, anyway, there you go. I think we're going to just switch this like that for now. We'll get rid of you for now, and get rid of it. Okay, so that's it. That's BNB on the daily, but really consider those weekly thoughts, okay, for BNB. Topping formation potential. Wow. Okay, let's see how Link is doing. It did a bit of a good move to the upside. Now, yeah, now it's finding a bit of resistance where we had that trend line over these last few weeks. And it's trying to hold this level as support here, which is a good level to try and hold as support. If you're holding this, trying to hold this level as support, that's good. That's previous highs and previous lows. So previous resistances and previous supports. So that's cool, but how long is that going to last? I don't know. So it'll be interesting to watch how the price plays at this level here at the top of the Bollinger Band. The price can totally keep going higher into here. So that's cool. That'll show strength. If you can't break this downtrend line and you make your down move now, that'll be more weak. But you can still hope for some sort of double bottoming, and then you cross over it. So there's that. You're just gonna have to watch. We don't know. We're gonna have to watch it play out here. And also, I mean, if we take it on the daily with the link price, let's see what these, we had a significant bottoming formation here. This looks like actually a long-term Bitcoin bottom. It's of 2014-15. But anyway, I'm not gonna, just to say that it's a type of bottoming pattern, you could say. I mean, you just broke down this kind of trend here. You know, you were walking up that line, which relates to this, right? So the price action was saying, hey, we're going to respect this type of level. And now we've broken down. So a little bit of a bearish bias here, but we're going to have to watch it play out. We're going to have to watch it play out. Okay. That's Link. Let's check out the XRP. Because also XRP had a nice pump to the upside. But pump to the upside is usually followed by a dump to the downside. That's just how most of these things work. Okay. Yeah, well, so far you're consolidating. I think most likely on XRP, what would really be nice here is a sideways consolidation at the upper end of the Ichimoku cloud, and then a move higher above the 200-week moving average to these previous significant levels back here, up to here. So that would be what it's looking like it wants to do, but of course it could come back down and fail. So watch how it plays around here. Definitely, if it can close above this yellow line that we've carved out, that's a great sign. But overall, if it can just hang up here for a bit, 8 candles, 12 candles, whatever, if you can just chop around here, then you're in a good position. But it's usually difficult to do that for a long time. Usually it's hard to stay at the top of your range, unless you're going to go higher. Okay, fine. But I don't know, 12 candles might be a bit too much to ask. So we'll see. Maybe first XRP needs to come back down, and maybe it does play into the cloud for a while before it can go higher, or maybe it's done. Maybe it's done its movement. It's coming back down to these levels. Not in a clear spot with XRP right now. It needs more time. It definitely needs time to either consolidate or to just dump further down. So we're going to find out, but I don't think in the near future you're going to go higher. But anything is possible, obviously. Ethereum against BTC. Taking a beating. It's trying to hold at this Ichimoku cloud level, but and 20-week moving average. So there is that potential there. So it's still good. It's still good, but at the same time, if you start breaking down below these levels, you know, you're in a bad place. Then you're really in a bad place. So I think we can kind of hold this zone, this level as like really the important level. It's the top of the Ichimoku cloud level. Okay. But you're just starting your negative momentum here. So what's that going to look like? Maybe it's actually part of the consolidation before it goes higher, and you're going to actually make some sort of, well, you'd have to go below here to make a, you could make a bullish convergence here if you're making these lows here like that. So that'd be good. Anyway, it looks okay. So far, it's decent. This is not the end of the world here on the Ethereum. But we're going to hide this. And we're going to hide this for now. Yeah, not the end of the world on Ethereum, but watch out because you just made your move down. You're just consolidating above the 20-week moving average. So I still think longer term, it's weak. I don't like it, but maybe it's not, and we're going to find out soon enough. DOT against BTC. All right, we take our newer generation price charts. Began around 2020. And yeah, currently still working this downtrend, still below. I think DOT's looking good. You're trying to form bottom over here. You're getting low volatility. So something's going to happen. Narrowing of the Bollinger Bands. I think you're going to the upside with DOT as well. So I think you're getting a bottoming here with DOT. And that's decently strong. Let's do this for the fun of it. Okay, something's coming. Something's coming on DOT. and I think it's to the upside. But we'll watch it more closely. And FTM, this could probably be a bottom as well. Yeah, I think we get a bottom here. FTM looks to be bottoming too. Narrow Bollinger Bands, kind of riding that 20-week down, low volatility, low range, you know. You could continue your positive momentum, right? But then again, when we look at these charts, you know, you see how long they can be low volatility, sideways, down. So it could be a long time that this happens. But hey, you're making higher lows here than here and here. So that's a great move for FTM in that case. Okay. But we'll see. We'll see. I think those bottoms are just local bottoms. I don't know if it's the full cyclical bottom. So we'll see. And Solana here, respecting the TA. Respecting the TA. Okay, here's why Solana is weak in my opinion. Firstly, because it's following exactly the path that I thought it would take, you know, nearly to a T with a few deviations, obviously, but it's like, wow, okay. Secondly, you just had this deviation above the 20-week moving average, and then this confirmatory really nasty candle down. I think you keep going down. Sorry. If this had stopped at the lower end of the Bollinger Band, and because the lower end of the Bollinger Band is up here, you're getting some sort of double bottom here, and then you can go higher and crack above this line here. Then fine. But because of this 20-week moving average and what the price did with it here, I feel like it's weak now. It's a bearish bias. It's a bearish bias. Okay. That's why I feel like down is more likely than up at this point. But of course, anything can change. But yeah, you're still making this kind of lower lows on this local level here. Yeah, it's just weak. Okay. We'll see. That's Solana against BTC. Avalanche against BTC. Similar kind of weakness. I wouldn't say it's showing strength. But it could be making a bottom before breaking this local downtrend here to the upside. Maybe you break to the upside and then you come back down and do your thing. Maybe you even go lower. Maybe you go up and then come down and go lower for a longer part of the cycle, right? But you are matching up against this downtrend. So I think maybe even Avalanche is gonna, well, if you're gonna break down, then wow, that's crazy. Then you're really coming to the lower end of your cycle, and maybe then you can bottom. So I guess Avalanche has a couple possibilities here, and it's coming up real soon. It's coming up really soon, it feels like, for this one. So yeah, there you go. I think that's that. You're coming right up against it. Could go either way. You know, you want to watch it on a lower time frame, maybe. Yeah, watch it on a lower time frame, and that way, if price action gets above this horizontal level on a daily and a closing basis, then you're in bullish territory. And as long as you're below it, then you're in bearish territory. That's my sense of it. Yes. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Okay, cool. So that's how you watch it on the daily. That's how I'm watching it on the daily, at least. And then when we check MATIC too, it's like, okay, this is similar to Ethereum, similar to some others where it's like, are you just making a sideways consolidation before you go higher? Or are you making a lower high than a previous high and consolidating, making some sort of topping formation before coming down and composing a longer term down move. And that's why maybe Ethereum is also making a sideways move before higher, because MATIC also looks like it could be making a sideways move before going higher. And I think that's very exciting for all the MATIC long positions and bulls. However, how much positive momentum you're going to maintain? It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Yeah, it's going to be tough. And currently, you kind of broke out of that kind of resistance, and then you found it as support. So I think that's significant. Now you're working with something like this. So let's see how you play with this, okay? Because also locally, you're making a lower high than this high too. So even here, you've got a downtrend here, not beyond the blue downtrend. That's a bigger one. You've got a smaller downtrend as well. So we would look on the daily here. And we say, okay, wow, okay, you're at the top of the Ichimoku cloud here, you're above it, but you've been having also this sideways for a while. So yeah, I guess this is definitely our level of importance here on the daily. And that corresponds to this level on the weekly here. Fine, but that feels like it's a little too far away. So if we go back to the daily, we say, okay, if you start breaking down this 20-week moving average and Ichimoku cloud, then there's a good chance you're going down further. And that's when you want to be careful, because then you've probably made a decent topping formation of this trend. So let's check out this daily trend. Okay, we broke it here to the downside, made our top of tops, came down, support, lower high. It's not looking good. Now, if this is just the first leg of a bigger move higher, then that's cool. Then we'll see how it plays out. But then you're watching for this downtrend to be broken to the upside. This blue downtrend, you're looking for it to be broken to the upside. And potentially for this uptrend to hold, but it might, this uptrend is irrelevant currently. It will only if we start going higher will this, wherever this uptrend ends up being, then that'll be relevant. But currently we'll hold it here. It's more the downtrend that's important for us here. Okay, so that's the thoughts on MATIC. Cautiously bullish longer term, but locally bearish potentially. But we want to watch how the price plays on the daily time frame. And we will look at Atom. We see that, yeah, it's at the lower end of the Ichimoku cloud, getting a bit of support there, but we broke below this historical price level as well. So I think we're weak on Atom right now. We're going to have to just watch how it plays with the 20-week moving average, but things are rolling over. And yeah, so it's slightly bearish for now, but we'll see. 20-week moving average is what we want to see to hold support and go higher. You see Ichimoku cloud as well. Looks a little weak though. Okay. Bearish bias on Atom. RUNE still, we're just waiting for it to break this downtrend, and it's trying to, but it's showing a bit of weakness. But I think you're going to get a pop to the upside on RUNE locally here. That's the sense I'm getting. Pop to the upside locally on RUNE, potential to go down, but slightly bullish bias in the short term locally. NEAR, on the other hand, wow, quite a bearish candle last week, but maybe that's a part of a bottoming formation with these, higher lows and lower end of the Bollinger Band support. But I think it's going to take some time to form over here. So you got a few weeks here that you're going to watch for, and then you got this downtrend that it needs to break to the right, to the above. Otherwise, you're probably going to dump further down. And I get the sense that there's a likelihood that that can happen, and you make your way down to these lower levels here. But yeah, it'll be interesting to watch in towards end of November, December, see where the price action plays with this this downtrend. Okay, cool. That's NEAR. Oof, let's just hit up DOGE and TRX because they good too, and we're wondering if DOGE is making a bottoming formation. It's working against this kind of downtrending channel. So there you go. You're kind of breaking it there. I'm going to let that go for now. And instead, we're looking at the horizontal zones. And so you're in a decent spot, but it's not the best, but it's okay. It's not terrible. And if we look at weekly closing prices, you're compressing. So maybe Doge is making a bit of a local bottoming formation as well. Yeah, we'll see though. Like nothing is quite clear yet, but at least bullish bias as long as you can stay above this pink line. If you break below this pink line, then we're having problems. And in that case, you know, you really want to hold above this 20-week moving average, but it looks like you're breaking down. So we'll see. Oops, we'll see what ends up happening. But yeah, hold this 20-week moving average, get back above it, and or at the very worst, hold this level. Okay, that's Doge. But because of the way that you're kind of compressing here, it's like, you know, you got to make a choice. You're either going up or you're going down. That's Doge on the weekly. And finally, let's take a look at TRX just to get a sense of this one, which also had, similar to XRP, made a significant move to the upside. And wow, it's still finding resistance with a lower high than the previous high at this significant zone level that we have carved out. It's at the top of the Bollinger Band. There's definitely volatility intra-week. It is holding the 20-week moving average. Things are starting to narrow. So is TRX making consolidation to pop higher? So far, it looks like it could be. Wait, we'll do that on the daily. This is the weekly price chart. We would have to watch the daily to really get a better sense of it. But I think, let's see what this does right there. So we're going to make this one this color, and we're only going to have it on the daily. Okay, let's go to the daily and say, okay, we had a somewhat of a downtrend and the price has broken above. So let's see if the price can hold that. That's a bullish point. As long as price can hold above this horizontal level, you're good, which is good. You got the Ichimoku cloud here. So on the daily, that's what you need. You need price to be above there. If it goes below there, you're in a bearish bias, okay, on TRX. I'm on a bearish bias for TRX. And interestingly, that price action here relates all to this price action here. So there you go. Okay. Cool. Important time in the TRX price chart right now. Okay, and an important time in this video. It's the end of the video. So thanks for watching. I hope this has been enjoyable. And I'm going to stop sharing the screen. Wishing you love, peace, and happiness. Until next time. Goodbye.